Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first Fireside Chat of 2025. And we are still in January, even though it's 31st Jan today. And my God, it's passed off like in a whiff. But a very, very happy new year and a happy 25 to all of you and your families and your teams from all of us at Nurse India and Signia Healthcare. So we look forward to another enriching series of fireside chats this year as well. Last year, thanks to the support and commitment of all of our nursing leaders, we had, I think, about 8 or 9 terrific fireside chats, each of them bringing to life a leader of either a corporate hospital or the army or a college, so on and so forth. We plan to continue to do that and, in fact, broaden the profiles this year. And it is our great pleasure to start the first fireside chat of 2025 with the iconic Major General Elizabeth John. May I request Major General John to come on camera, and a very, very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and thank you for your time. So I know she doesn't need any introduction, but for those of you who are just joining in, Major General was the former additional director of the Military Nursing Service. She's also, by the way, the first alumni of the Armed Forces Medical College, Pune, to actually rise to become the head of the Indian Nursing Service, the Military Nursing Services. So that's a trivia I picked from her, a little while back when we were chatting. As she said, she was born into the army, and I actually said, okay, what would that mean, ma'am? I mean, apart from she belonging to an army family, she said, my dad was, of course, part of the Indian Army. He joined at the time of the Second World War, but I was born into the army because, she was born in Mao. So you really couldn't get better than that. And she's, being an army kid, as they say, she's been, of course, in pretty much almost every region of the country. She's been in Calcutta, my hometown. She's, of course, been in Delhi, Thankam's town. And for a long time, she was in Pune. She's been in Jammu, Chandigarh, Bhopal, and after retire, I mean, now, of course, she's based out of Bangalore. Uh, Today, I think in the next 1 hour or so, Thankam and I, along with all of you, would love to unpack facets of her life, get to know her a little better. She has been a rather private person, apart from a military, service. There's not too much of trivia you would find on the internet. So let's hear it, up close and personal from Major General Elizabeth John. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, and over to Thankam to take the proceedings ahead.
Thank you so much, Indrani. It's a pleasure to be here on this platform today.
Our privilege.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to this fireside chat. And as you have seen our other fireside chat, not a heavy thing. We really want to look at the person behind the leader because we know that leadership does not come easy, though it looks easy on a lot of people. So, Major General Elizabeth John, I can remember coming to R&R in Delhi and meeting you in all glory in your uniform. I always envy people who are in the uniform. That's the time I met you, and I was totally in awe of you, and I had become an admirer of you since then, and we had been keeping in touch on and off. And as Indrani told, not much I know about you as an individual. A little bit I know here and there because we had been in touch. So, ma'am, the most important question that everybody would like to know, you with your personality and beauty, and she's a beauty. Even in uniform, she was a stunning beauty, I would say. So today also you look very beautiful, ma'am. So I would like to know what made you to choose nursing so many years ago.
Okay. Thank you, Thankam, for inviting me to this fireside chat. And I'm really looking forward for the next 1 hour to the chat that we will have. And thank you for your question. Uh, well, why did I choose nursing in the army? Nursing per se first. I never ever, it was not my choice to do nursing. In fact, I had gone for a medical entrance test of CMC Vellore as well as AFMC. And I also went for a physiotherapy entrance exam, which is in Haji Ali. That is one of the first physiotherapy colleges. But I didn't get any of those places. And then I continued doing my second year of BSc with chemistry and zoology and geology at Wadia College at Pune.
Okay.
And then my father was then posted to the headquarters Southern Command, which is in Pune, and he was the administrative officer. And I'm now talking about 1975. And there was a Colonel Miss Kurian. She was the CPM, Chief Principal Matron. There, that post is now called the Brig MNS. So she told my father that, Major John, you have a daughter who is doing her BSc. Why don't you put her in the BSc nursing course at AFMC? So my father came home and he shared this news with my mother first. And my mother said, no, 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 no. You are not going to send my daughter to nursing. Please don't do that. Then, but of course, my father was a very, those days, the culture was whatever the father said, everybody at the household would obey the father's desire or wish. So then he told me, why don't you apply? I said, no, daddy, I don't want to do nursing. Let me do this. I'm very happy. He said, no, I think this will give you a career for life. So then I appeared for their entrance test, and then there was an interview which was at Command Hospital, Pune. And the person who interviewed was a stunner. Major General Pinto, Letty Pinto. She had an hourglass figure. And of course, that time, Madam was not a Major General. She rose to become a Major General and the additional DGMNS. But being a Goan, she had that aura and that charisma and that beauty. And she was so impeccable in the way she dressed. And I watched her feet. She had a beautiful, though she was in uniform, but I observed that from the head to the toe, she was flawless in her turnout. I was so enamored by her. I said, this is it. I'm going to be also looking like that one day. And that's how I joined nursing, Tangam.
Oh, what a down to earth and motivating and so candid, your motivation. And I think that is one of the requirements of, nursing leadership today, that how you present yourself, the way you dress and you present, and then your personality, the way you communicate, all together, you become something to reckon with, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason all the people, all the veterans who had come to Fireside Chat, they all have a similar thing. It's kind of the word I can come to is that they have arrived, they have arrived. So any new generation who is going to watch will definitely understand the importance of personality development. It is not just the way that you are, God has given your physical attributes. Apart from that, there is so much that you put into it. So, ma'am, coming back to, okay, you got into nursing. So, you were, definitely attracted to the way that your boss who was interviewing was, dressed and, presented. And I must tell you that I have always envied the ladies in uniform, because I also wanted to be a military nurse, but unfortunately could not. Though I am very short. My father was ex-army, so he said, "Don't worry, you will get some, leverage if you go." But my mother, she went on a strike and she said, "I will do this, I will do that." And then I had to forego that particular dream. But I'm so happy that I am able to, interact with so many army leaders. So, ma'am, tell me one of those interesting incidents as you got into army, something that either blown you out of mind positively or something that shocked you. Because whenever you get into something that you don't know, these two things happen.
Yeah, actually, when I joined nursing my first year, in my undergraduate training in my first year, the first few months I was a day. Actually, in AFMC, all our resident, that means hostelites, we have to compulsorily stay in the mess. So, but I was one of the lucky ones because my father being still in Pune and serving, I could go every weekend home. I was quite homesick, never being been away from home. That first year was not, first few months were not very comfortable. But after the probationary period, once you are certain that you want to pursue this, the nursing as your career, we were posted to the wards, and that was a beautiful journey for me, interacting with patients. And I think that was inborn in me. I realized that time that serving the sick was something which was integral to my character or personality. And I remember then my journey was absolutely smooth. And my first posting, I was posted to Command Hospital. And as you said, there are some incidences in our nursing career which actually touches a very deep core. I was doing my night duty in the Malignant Disease Center at Pune Command Hospital. And that ward has 80 beds. And these cancer patients are all soldiers of varying ages admitted there. And Tangam, you'll be surprised to know we used to do 1 month night duty. 1 month night duty, starting from 7:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. And by the time we finish reporting and go to the mess, it would be around 9:30. And after that 30 days of night duty, we get 5 days off. But looking back, I cannot imagine how did we, but all of us did that till a certain point of time. Now, during my night duty in the MDTC, there was a young recruit boy, 19-year-old. He had sarcoma and he had unmitigated, excruciating pain because I didn't realize, I didn't have that much knowledge. Every night he needed a painkiller, some kind of a sedative. So I rang up one night, he was howling, and all the other patients are also, and he was telling me, "You're such a heartless nurse. You're seeing me suffering. You're not even putting me out of my misery. You give me some medication." Those days, we never had morphine. We had what was called cocktail. That cocktail is a combination of pethidine, largectil, and finargan. We had to give this cocktail to these patients who are in the end stage disease, who suffer from excruciating pain. So that night I called my HOD of the onco, and I told him, "Sir, this patient is howling with pain. What do I do?" He said, "You just give him this cocktail. And and don't hesitate, give him every 4 hourly." I gave him the cocktail, but he had no relief. I had to repeat that again. And I saw this boy suffering in pain. And in that night duty, one of my night duties, this boy was so critical. One night, I called the resident on duty. I said, "Please come." I remember his name also, Dr. Raina. I said, "Please come. This boy is sinking." He took his own time. He came. And then he didn't even put his death on the patient. He didn't do anything because he understood that his end is near and it's nothing one can do. And the boy, we saw the boy, passing away in front of our eyes. And that was absolutely shattering experience for me because I felt so helpless that I couldn't do anything to, and then a young boy, imagine just a 19-year-old boy. So the next day I met our HOD and I said, sir, I don't think I can take this pain and suffering. I don't want to, after my night duty was over, I had a chat with him. I said, I do not want to work here in this ward anymore. But then later I understood that, these patients who are in end stage, those days we didn't have this kind of drugs that we have now, which is so effective in palliation. Then of course, we get a rotation, and after the rotation period, I was then moved to another ward. But what I want to say is, some of these experiences touch you so deeply, and then you understand what a patient goes through. You empathize, and you realize the value of a compassionate nurse. Just holding the patient's hands, or just putting your hands on his forehead and speaking to him lovingly, he is not aware of his surroundings, but at that point of time when you are doing this, it is also a sense of gratification for you as a nurse, that you have been able to, may not be able to mitigate his suffering, but you have been with a patient at such a young age losing his life, and you were able to do what you could do best. And remember, I was a very young 21-year-old nurse. And that is why in our profession, we become mature much earlier than any other 21-year-old in any other profession. I think medical profession and nursing, and more so for nurses, because we are so working round the clock with them at their bedside. And we learn to handle complex emotions of human beings. And I think that's a great opportunity and a great service that we have in the society. No other member of the society can go through such an experience and be empowered, to empower another one who is suffering or who is at the end stage of the disease.
That's very touching indeed, ma'am. But 1 month of night duty, my goodness gracious. Uh, I used to run away from 6 days of night duty, which, I used to think, my God, when will this finish? So I think that creates a lot of grit and resilience in
Yes,
the, army nurses, right? Because
yes,
environment that that you are put in, and the experience that you get in, and your patient centricity, you find your own way of being there for so many people, right? Because I've heard this from other army leaders as well, that so many patients and few nurses with some attendants, how do you pay attention to all of them? That story is really touching indeed, and I'm very sure that all the nurses who are here today, all the leaders who are here today, each one of them would have their own story. And this is a call out to all the nurses and students who might be watching this today or tomorrow or anytime later, is that exactly as Ma'am John told, what makes us special? This is one profession that teaches it that we can be somebody to somebody else. And that also not just in any way, in a very scientific manner, and yet very humanly, be there for people who are suffering. That's a profound reflection, ma'am. So let's move on to the next question. Next question would be, we want to take you out a little bit from this, the heavy emotional part of the profession, to the other side in the army. What are the other things that you think the other nursing students would miss? and what you would get as students in the army, because I have a little bit of idea that your life is far more fun and exciting than the students who could be learning in the civilian colleges. Because I heard this from a lot of people. Even my father used to, "You civilian." I said, "What a dialogue is that? What do you mean by you civilian?" So let's try to understand the difference between these two, army college and the civilian college, so call it.
Tangam, what you need to understand is that the military is all about regimentation and spirit de corps and a camaraderie, which we share right from day one when we join the service, either as a cadet or as a trainee or wherever, whoever. This is pan all professions in the army, whether it's a nursing, whether it's a medicine, whether it's engineering, a logistic, a boy who goes through NDA or a cadet who is in the IMA or a medical student who is in AFMC or a nursing student who is in the nursing college are ingrained into this military ethos right from day one. And since we are always in residential programs, it's unlike the civil colleges where they are day scholars, they come and go. There is no really community living or a community life. And the army life is totally regimental. And there is a routine. You start in the morning at 5, 4:30. You have to go down for PT, which would be between 5 to 6. You come back, you have quick wash, then you go for your breakfast, then you come back and you have a fall-in roll call, then you are rushing to the clinics for the clinical experience, then you go to college between 2 to 4, then you come back and you have games between 5 to 6, and then you go have a wash, then you go for your dinner in the mess, you come back and then you study and lights off at 10.
Oh,
And this routines starts. And we have the students who are in the hostel or in the mess, what we call, they are supervised by a floor supervisor who is in living faculty. So nobody can play up. Lights off means lights off. But there are times when we close our eyes also as instructors, because there is a lot of study to be done. As long as they are, doing their studies properly, even if it is a little beyond the 10 o'clock, we just give them a little space so that they do. Now, this routine starts from Monday to Saturday, and then we have a off day. Either it's on a Saturday or on a Sunday, and that is the outpass day.
oh,
Which, Liberty, the NDA boys call it Liberty. And that
okay.
yeah. And this liberty for the NDA boys is they have to be in uniform. They are not allowed to come out in mufti clothes. They will
Okay.
come, and you can make them out very clearly that they have white shirts, black pant, a tie, and a nicely short feet and shoes, and wherever, and they have a blazer, and you can make out these are the NDA boys. But for us, in AFMC, the girls go on outpass and they deck up and go. Oh, it's such a pleasure to watch them. And what they do outside the gates, we do not know. But we have a system that a student can only go in twos or threes. But outside the gate, they all be singled out. We know all that, but that's a time where they let their hair loose and they enjoy life and they have fun. They go for movies, they go for treks, and Pune has a lot of places where you can go for trekking and things like that. And then this is not all. We have a very well entrenched sports program. We have an adventure club in AFMC. We have museumatics, we have dramatics, we have hobbies. So it's an all-round development. And by the way, Tangam, every Monday there will be a room inspection.
Okay.
You know what that is? One faculty in rotation, they'll all fall in outside their rooms. and their rooms have to be arranged in a particular manner. We teach them right when they enter the nursing how to arrange your cupboards, how to make your beds, where to keep what things. And this goes on in India too. And even in AFMC, that is with the boys, that's in IMA also. This is it's a unspoken rule. So when we come into their rooms, we will go and put our fingers on the bed, see if it's dusted well, if the study table is clean, we open the cupboards, and you will see that they beautifully arrange the things, everything in its place, and the room looks spick and span. So that is something which is ingrained in us, and we, to this date, we follow that because it's part of your character or part of your personality, part of your growing up. And I would like to tell you, one of my juniors, she came in a long skirt and she had this hair all tied up with hair oiled. And she was from a place in Kerala called Tiruvalla. She couldn't speak English very well. By the end of fourth year at AFMC, she was a butterfly. She had a hair cropped. She used to wear skirts, which even I never wore. And she would wear trousers. She was, in fact, the gold medalist also of her batch. She topped her batch. And she could speak beautiful, flawless, English. So that's what this grooming does. They change totally. And they change, and you no longer remember, is this the girl who came in the first year? That it's a total metamorphosis, a total change. They were in a cocoon and now they are butterflies, and they are so confident, supremely confident, because we train them in public speaking. They have opportunities to participate in hobby in the, we have these quiz competitions, we have elocutions, and we have, you just name it, and they have the opportunity. And the money is not at all a constraint in the services. We get some grant for their extracurricular this thing. We have picnics. So they grow up as a family, and they have a great, feeling of love and hate with their teachers.
Okay.
Because we have to be strict with them also while they are in training. But that's a lifelong relationship. So here, the training ground, they build lifelong relationships. I can see that Aji and Amita are also here, and they will agree with what I am saying. That
Oh, there is a comment here. Ma'am, I remember this is from Aji, how you had taken away my immersion road, which I used to burn to water to make Maggie. So they are also remembering their
yeah.
days. I think everybody has those stories because I suddenly remember we were not supposed to use iron inside the hostel.
Yeah.
I was in a holy family, but then
Mm.
secretly we'll be ironing. And one day kept the iron, went for duty. So obviously the fire started and the house matron came, opened because the moment the smoke came, somebody detected, and then they didn't disturb us during the class or anything. Evening, the moment we walked in, I wouldn't say it was regimental like army, but we were very, very disciplined. So the matron, the house matron called us, my office. She was also a Goan lady. She said, my office. And then we got our dressing down for doing whatever it is. But that did not stop us from bringing cooking that the olden one you get, no, the one that you can cook something on, you connect it. I don't know what we used to call it, heater.
Heater.
No? So then we will cook something. So I think those are fun. I mean, those naughty things are part and parcel of, growing up, So
Yeah.
your students are
Yeah.
remembering.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, that's a very, very, very interesting one thought was coming to me. Use the word metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Metamorphosis of a person who is so timid, so closed, and coming out very confident and, you know, just moving out, by the time they finish. So I keep wondering, why is it that magic we are not able to create in other colleges outside the military, or is the military the same? Are they still attracting, young, girls to military nursing? Has it been the same, or the same number, or the profession is lacking in attraction? I don't know. I would like to know.
Yeah. Uh, you see, as I told you, all are residential and they grow up in a community and they get a stipend also.
Mhm.
And training is totally free.
Yeah.
Food is free. They get beautiful place to stay, lovely environment in the army cantonment. Where can they get that? And we have huge number of students wanting to join nursing in the army. And remember, these are the same children. They are the same segment of the population which is joining in the civil colleges. Only thing is probably the way they are groomed is not well entrenched. A system is not well entrenched. We have a system in place. So every child who joins the services for training, whether it's the Navy, Air Force, or the Army, many of these children come from villages. And you just imagine a small boy joining NDA at 17 years of age, coming from a village. He is totally a changed person when he passes out of NDA, or a naval cadet, or a Air Force cadet. He's not the same. He is totally changed. It's because of the system and the regimental life that they lead that changes them, and that becomes part of their character, deeply ingrained till they die. That is not there in any of the civil colleges, because there the teachers come 9 to 5. Here, as instructors, we start a day with the students and it goes on beyond, because we do night duty also. The instructor in a college in rotation does what is known as a duty nursing officer. And now that all are married, earlier we were not married when I joined the profession. In fact, let me tell you that in the military, they were not allowed to marry. Marriage was permitted only in the 70s. Till then, it was only single women could join the nursing. That changed. Today, it's only married. As soon as they get graduate, they get married. And these nursing officers are living outside. They're not part of the mess where the students are staying. So somebody has to see them during the night. The warden does the day duties and goes off. So we have a duty nursing officer. Her day starts at 7:30 and it ends the next day at 7:30. She sleeps in the hostel and she is supervising the girls in case there is an emergency in night, any health issues, then she rushes them to the hospital. Even the hospital treatment is totally free for them. So these kind of facilities are lacking in the civil colleges. They are 9 to 5. They don't even have a rapport with their students. They don't even know. And here we have limited number of students. We have 40 students. That's the maximum we take. And in the colleges, there are 30 students. So we know each instructor knows the student by, as a person. She's not only knowing her as Miss So-and-so, but she knows that Miss So-and-so comes from such a place and she has this family. And so we have counselors also. So we have faculty who are distributed to 15 students and they have their counseling sessions whenever it is required. And it's once in a month, faculty needs to, at least talk to one student and get to know her, and that kind of a relationship is there throughout till the student passes out, which is not there in the civil colleges. There is total disconnect. They don't even know who the student is. Maybe in the class or in the clinical area, they may know, but beyond that, they do not know.
While you are mentioning this process of, how the faculty, they keep in touch with the students, I'm just thinking that even today in leadership, it is the same discussion. You want to get better results from your team, you have to know your team.
Yes.
So I remember when I was in Fortis, we devised a method by which every single nurse would be able to meet her reporting in charge at least once in a quarter, one to one. So when I made that entire framework and I presented to the CEO who was from a retail background, he only told me one thing. He said, forget about the Excel sheet, forget about what metrics you are using. If you can, if you are going to make sure that all of these 6,000 nurses in the system, each one is going to have a one to one meeting with one of the senior nurses, that is an achievement. I'm just repeating that because for you, it is a way of life. Today, this has to be discussed and trained for every leader to understand that connection is what is going to make a difference. And while you're talking, I thought even in a college, it is very doable, right? Even if you have a large number of students, why not assign 10 or 15 students to one faculty and say these are your whatever name you call it, it doesn't matter, these are your kiddos, you look after them. It's like in the SOS villages where there is a mother and then they have children and they are not related to each other, right? Similarly, it's just my thought process that I wish in the civilian colleges they will become a little bit more creative despite all the constraints that one has. I mean, the list can go on and on because you are talking about military has a lot of advantages. I totally agree with that, but there is a lot of hope if only the teachers or the faculty members think slightly differently to say that, okay, this is the given situation. Can we break it down into smaller pieces and bring some results? I mean, they're all very thought provoking answers, ma'am, I should say. And from you, it just came out just like that because that's your way of life. And I'm thinking today I am struggling when I'm doing leadership training, trying to tell them that how do you devise a methodology by which you can have a one to one talk with that nurse of yours, whoever is in the team. So these are kind of seen as, oh wow, this is a big idea. And books are written on that. I think it's only because outside your I like the word regimental system. You use the word many times, regimental. So we don't have a regimental system outside. So we have to find a system that works for us so that finally we are able to create nurses who are the right nurses for our patients. Coming back to your story, ma'am, I'm going ahead and in your, you were in the army for 37 years, am I right?
No, no, more than that, almost 40 years.
Oh, wow, 40 years
Mm.
in the army. And you have, I'm sure that you must have at least gone to private hospitals for receiving care, right? So I have two questions. One question that generally, I mean, without any further interpretation, what are the good things you saw in the private sector when you went, for your care? Second is, what would you tell? What are those two, three basic things that all the people who are sitting here working in different hospitals, whether they are leaders or staff nurses or even students, that they can think on and work on? So, two parts of the question.
Well, I have only been to Mission Hospital in here in Bangalore after I retired because while we are in service, we are taken care of by the service hospitals. So I was, Tangam, very impressed with the care, compassion, empathy shown in this mission hospital in Bangalore. Is one of the oldest and a large mission hospital in Bangalore. Right from the person who mans the security gate, to the receptionist, to the pharmacist, to the housekeeper, to the lift man is extremely polite and absolutely, I would give them a 10 point on their behavior with patients and relatives. I am amazed how they have achieved this. There is an inbuilt system there where they are able to train every category of personnel in that hospital to deliver that compassionate care. I had taken my mother 4 years back to this hospital, and she's quite old. She's 90 plus. That time she was 96, and she was struggling to get out of the chair, out of the car seat at the back. And this security saw her, rushed with a wheelchair, helped her out, made her sit, and took her in. And they are so helpful, and you will always see a smile on every category of personnel, whether it's the cleaner, the housekeeper, the receptionist, the help desk, everyone, the nurse, the doctor, they're what we are taught in nursing: be polite, be a good listener, no anger, and information. Give information to your patient. All that I saw here. And I happened to also consult who is the medical superintendent of that hospital, because he's a specialist, cardiac specialist. I had to meet him with my mother. And I couldn't make out, is he the MS of the hospital? You know, that servant leadership that was seen there. How are they able to achieve that? Being in a mission hospital, their philosophy is this only: care, compassion, and love and empathy, equality, care, give care. Don't show any discrimination in poor or rich or color or caste. I have seen this there. And I am extremely happy with the way the services are rendered. The pharmacist also is so, they have such a wonderful system in the pharmacy. They will explain to the patient 3-4 times. This is the prescription. This is how you have to take. They will, write everything, and they will check this medicine 3 times. Once they take from shelf, once they put in then again, while giving to the patient 3 times, they will check. So there is safety in medication administration. And I have not been an inpatient, but I've seen the OPD systems. Everything is absolutely, I would say, beyond any criticism. And they have frequently got very good reviews. And they do not just charge you, or they do not just advise you, okay, you do this, you must do this, otherwise this will happen. All that kind of doctor-patient interactions are not there. So I think I would say one thing is to all the nurse leaders that you need to create a system in your nursing department and follow that system to the T. And that should start from the leader. Protocols, training, periodic training, and see that they are being followed, see that they are being rewarded, nurses who do good job, and have frequent meetings with them so that, you follow up with them, and they also have a chance to interact with you, to tell you what are the issues that they are facing. And you must have an open system of communication. A good leader is one who can have within your hospital setup, have a communication where she is free to call you on the phone or message you on WhatsApp. This is what's happening. Don't be distant from them, from the junior. And I followed that in the largest hospital of our army, where you saw me at RR. Even the youngest nursing officer had she knew that I could just WhatsApp my madam and tell her this is what I am facing, night or day. That was my instruction. whether it is middle of the night also. Please call me if it's so urgent or critical. I am always available for you. That kind of a leadership, if a nurse leader adopts, then there is confidence in that young nurse that yes, my leader is there for me and I can always get back to her.
Thank you. I mean, that is, you have kind of summarized what everybody is wanting to do. And you were fortunate that you could visit a mission hospital and you had so many positive stories. But unfortunately, that's not the case in every hospital, because I had been to other hospitals, but I'm not going to get into that. So here Aji is telling from 28th batch, 1/3 of you students are here. So hang on, students. Before we wrap up, I will be asking your students to come on the video so we can take a shot. We can do a screenshot. Indrani will be more than happy to do that. But hold on, we still have few more minutes. Till then, don't start your video and distract ma'am. Till then, just hang on. We will ask you to come on the video. All right. So that's the only reason I'm switching off the video, because it will interrupt the recording. So let's continue with ma'am. I kind of lost a little bit of my thought over there. Yeah, coming back. Ma'am, you spent your life only in the army, 40 years, and you just stepped out. And there are a lot of leaders who have spent 16 to 25 years to come out, and they get into corporate, hospitals. And I personally had the opportunity to work with a lot of ex-army nurse leaders. So something that I have seen when I interview them, obviously, were all the things that you told. It is systematic, entrenched. That means they are cut to be leaders, when you actually interview them. But couple of things that I personally noticed was that, sometimes, I'm talking about 12, 13 years older story. So whether it is the same, you can tell that, whether uh, couple of things that what I thought that they could do more was to understand how the corporate or the private sector actually functions, which is very different from a army setup. There's a lot of cost efficiency required to be, thought of when they come out, and also understand computer, Excel. A lot of work keeps happening on the, all the tech-based thing, PPT, Excel, data, etc. So I saw that this was probably the gap that I could see. So I had seen people who were very keen to learn, and they will learn very quickly. But I had also met people who kind of sit on this, feeling that I have spent this many years in the army, so I don't need to learn. So it becomes difficult to, get through to them and to get them to understand. It's not that we are saying you don't know or anything. They have a lot of things going for them. I always used to tell them, it's so difficult to get someone who already has got leadership traits, but you are already coming with that. And we don't have to train you in that particular piece. There's personality, the way they talk, they're confident, their English is good. So a lot of things are all sorted out. So what are your thoughts on that, ma'am?
You see, in the service, you are trained to practice your profession in that environment. And that necessitates you to have certain skills in the army. Well, when they are thinking of getting out after either prematurely, after having put in 21 years of service, or those who are short service who leave after 14 years. Many of these short service girls come from the civil. They learn the army ways and they go back and work in the civil, or they go abroad.
Okay,
So
okay.
that in that category, there is not much of a problem. Now the problem, I wouldn't say it's a problem. This transition will depend on each person, how she takes the change in the corporate world. See, as you very correctly said, it's all about cost effectiveness. It's all about money, because without money, you can't run any corporate hospital. So it is a learning, it's a new learning for them. But being resilient and adaptable, I'm sure that adaptability they will bridge. And now with the present generation, they are already digital. They are into that digital. So they will have no issues. This is the generation of our kind, and the later generation, maybe of the 80s, who may have had problems in transition. Because definitely leadership and administrative acumen military nurses have. But the
Exactly.
technological divide, which is there in the corporate world, they'll have to learn, and that learning is up to each one of them, how they learn and how they adapt and how they mold into the system. And one has to be very clear, am I wanting to practice in corporate, am I wanting to practice in a non-corporate or a small private, or I want to get into a mission field or whatever. That depends on each one of them. But many of I just for last week I had a call from one of the nurses who is 1977 commissioned from
Oh,
Jalandhar. She's senior to me, and she called me. She wanted a transcript from her school. So she came to know through some sources, and so I said, "What are you doing there in the US?" She's in Georgia. She said, "I was working in Kuwait, and 4 years back, they came from the US to recruit nurses from Kuwait, I think she was, and a lot of Indian nurses went, and along that, she also went." So I mean to say that there are nurses, military nurses, who are practicing in these complex settings, and they are adapting. But as they would, the adaptation would be better when they are younger. But as we grow older, that may be a little difficult. But again, that depends on person to person. We can't make generalizations. But yes, definitely there is a divide of, the way nursing is practiced in the civil. You have gone far ahead with digitalization and, which in the army, we are still a little uh, slow in adopting this digital platforms, though we have also started digitalizing many things, and we'll have to think of robotic and things like that. So that'll
ma'am,
happen.
you're 40 years in the army. Any regrets?
Not at all. If you give me another chance, I would go back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really, really. Have you paid any personal price for being in the army?
No personal. No, I have not had any. See, I'm a single woman, not
Okay.
married. So I had all the time, and my father was very supportive. Uh, and as God may have destined or planned it, I had many postings to Pune where my parents were. So I was able to look after them also. So I had no other distractions. So I continued with my profession to the best of my ability. And I had very supportive administrators, and I had beautiful memories wherever I was posted.
So
So I had,
I'm going to ask you a very naughty question.
yeah,
So no, pardon me if you
yes,
if
no, no, no,
too much.
please.
You're such a beautiful lady. I fail to, you know, believe that you were not disturbed by distractions in the army. I am very sure that a lot of people might have followed you and you
Yes, they
missed
were.
all of them.
Yes, there were many people, but I was very clear that the person I marry would be of my faith, and I didn't want to compromise on that. And in the services, there are not many people of our faith in the services. I was very, very clear on that. And yes, there were many people who held a candle to me, but मैंने घास नहीं डाली उनको.
That's a nice one. Held a candle. Brani is like, wow, wow, good, well done, well done. She's another lady who
She
is
knows.
single.
Aji knows, seems to be knowing the answer. There were a lot of people, yes, of course,
And
but
he's putting too many hearts there.
yeah, she's
So,
laughing.
very- need an answer for this question, even though she already answered, ladies, that a lot of candles came around, but she blew it away. Every candle she blew away.
No, and I also think, Tangam, that a person of some kind of a persona or accomplished person can also be a threat.
Exactly.
They are also a threat. So I think that could also must have kept people at bay.
It happens, ma'am, because I'm a very late, my late primey. I had my first son when I was 38, but I know what you are saying because after certain age, you just don't seem to find the wavelength
Yeah.
with the other person. And then, anyway, my story is different, but then probably that's one of the reason that I decided to be a single mom. So I think strong women, they have a lot of power and they can become a bit of threat to others also. That's
Yeah,
what you are.
and it's not that I desired not to marry, but it just didn't happen. And I remember in one of the Sunday service when I went to the St. Paul's Church where I used to go in Pune. I remember the priest telling me, he's a very close friend of me, of mine. He said, I am called Pamela at home, Pam. So everyone calls me Pam. He said, Pam, have you read John Stott? John Stott is a pastor from UK, old man, never married. He said, you read his book. And in singleness also, there is a huge value. That really struck a chord in my heart, and I enjoyed because I had a purpose, a goal. I had something to give my students or to give the nursing officers who were later my staff, and I enjoyed every way, every path.
What a powerful way of summing it up, ma'am. There is power in singleness.
Yes,
Because all we need is a purpose. It doesn't
yes,
matter whether you're single, double, triple.
yeah.
There has to be a purpose for the individual. I mean, that's a lovely, lovely thought, I would say. We just have 3 minutes left. I have a quick round question. I'll come to that because I just definitely have to ask Indrani whether she would like to ask something or share. So far, I have, had been, I wish I could talk to you for another hour, but we are committed to the time that we have told the audience. Hold on, the students. I will ask you to come on the video. Just give us few more minutes. Indrani, do you have
I'm just blown by her candid, conversation, and there was so many points that it resonated with a lot of us from the audience. So, thank you for that brilliant conversation, Major General and Thankam. I have one question because I want to understand she's already kind of, you've shown a little bit of your private side, but how do you spend your days now? What are some of your hobbies?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well,
that,
I have a mother who is 100 years old.
wow, wow.
So I had decided after my service I will not work because I need to give time to her. I was away from home, and I thought I am a single person. I have enjoyed my career. Now it's time, payback time for her. So I have been with her and I take care of her. I bathe her, I feed her, I help her, and I do everything at home. I cook, I shop, I do the maintenance of the house, whether it's plumbing, I mean, I get it done. So I'm a one-man army.
Wow,
I
you
have no
must be having
time.
your full day. Exactly. No, not even a second because you're really managing everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And I thank God for empowering me to, carry forward this. It is a duty which I love to do, and and I'm actually practicing my profession with her.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
It's become a labor of love for you now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful,
And
wonderful. And how
uh,
inspiring.
yeah. And Indrani, it gives me so much joy that I'm able to hug and kiss my mother and love her the way she loved me. And these are very precious moments. And let
Oh,
me tell you,
absolutely.
there's no greater satisfaction or gratification than taking care of one's parents. And I think that's a privilege that I have. And I am just loving every minute of it.
Wow, wow.
What a
It's just
wonderful
been
thought.
inspiring and inspiring just so many times over. Wow. Thankam,
Can
over
we
to
go for
you
the quick
for
round? Shall we go for the quick round? Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am. Morning person or evening person?
Morning person.
Morning person. What do you love, dancing or singing?
Dancing.
Oh, we have to see you dancing. What kind of a dancing?
Well, I can do waltz, I can jive, I can dance. I
Okay,
enjoy
great,
it. Yeah.
great. Okay, okay. We hope to see you dance someday for sure. And what's your favorite movie? Do you watch movies?
Yeah, I do watch. I like some classic. Uh, I love James Bond, and I
Oh,
I love war movies, and I like some old classical movies, and anything that has a good message. Mission Impossible, and then there
oh,
was one movie called Dune, which my niece took me to, and it was very nice. So yeah.
okay. Okay, great. Tell us something that we don't know about you.
Well, you don't know that I was a badminton champion. I
oh
was a
wow.
national champion, and
Oh,
I was very good at the sport. I got the college colors in FMC for badminton, and well, I love to write, and I love to read poetry,
oh,
and I also like painting, but of late I've not put my hand to it. And I think I'm a very social, gregarious person who loves people and who loves to be in company and who loves to interact with people. And wherever there is a need, I would have loved to go and help people, but because of my mother's constraint, I mean, I won't call that the time constraint. I'm not able to do that. Tangam, from my first year onwards till I passed out in my pen picture. We have this clinical experience pen picture.
okay.
There's one common factor which was written by most of my instructors: a cheerful, compassionate bedside nurse.
Oh, wow.
And I think
You
that's
are still very, very cheerful and compassionate. I have only seen you very kindly interacting with me, and that is what has, kept me in touch with you. And
yeah.
I always look up to you, and there's something there in your persona. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee. How many cups of coffee?
Just one bed coffee in the morning, filter coffee. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think now we should be actually asking your students to come on the camera.
Oh.
Okay, students, please come on, start your videos. Okay, that's Amita.
Ma'am, permit us to start the video, please.
Please, please, I have
Aji.
already permitted all of you.
Hello, ma'am. This is simple.
Hi.
This
No,
is
I
simple
am
here.
not able to, ma'am.
Hi.
I'm not able to.
Ma'am,
Aji.
very happy to see you here, ma'am.
Hi, Simple. So lovely to see you. I got connected with
Start
Pampa.
video.
Yeah. That's so nice, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah,
Ma'am,
yeah.
I think the host has
Okay,
blocked the
okay,
video.
I've asked you to start the video.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Amita. So nice
Hi,
to see you. Pretty girl, how are you?
I'm good, ma'am. Thank you.
How's
How are
your
you?
son?
Yeah, he's
Is
doing well. He's doing well.
he's on the national scene, huh?
Yes, ma'am. He's
Great,
doing
great,
well.
great. Wonderful.
Your blessings, ma'am.
Wonderful,
They all
wonderful.
are from the same batch?
No, 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 no. Amita is from Ashwini, trained, and Simple and Aji are same batch. I can see Clarice is there. Hi, ma'am.
Very sharp memory. Very sharp memory, ma'am, you
I
have.
swear.
I
Very
wonder if
sharp.
you remember me, ma'am. This is
Beena.
Beena. I'm not allowed to put my video on, so I'm still waiting.
1 second, let me.
Beena Rajapan?
Bina Ravindran.
No, Beena Ravindran.
Ravindran. Oh, same batch.
Yeah, Shiny Susan is here.
Hi.
Caris is here. Bina Ravindran is here.
Oh, Auntie.
Ma'am, do you remember our trip? Shimla trip.
Of course, hi,
Gigi
Beena.
and John is here.
Who? Gigi is there?
Liji
Oh,
and John,
so
Liji.
Liji, where is she? Oh, so wonderful. I haven't seen Liji in years.
Sarojit
Ma'am,
is
good
here.
evening. Good
Sarabji.
evening, ma'am.
Hi, sweetheart, darling.
Lovely to hear you, ma'am. So many memories are all coming back.
I think 1,000
Um,
times I must have gone to that mess and had the room inspection also. Okay.
I can feel all that Ma'am John mentioned in this Zoom room now.
Yeah,
I can
and
feel it.
Exactly. Exactly, ma'am.
Tangam, Aji's batch were 40 students. They were the first batch with 40 intake, and they were a marvelous batch.
Thank
And
you
they've
very
all,
much,
yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi.
Thank
Good
you,
to
ma'am.
hear that now, ma'am.
Yeah,
I know.
marvelous batch. Each of them was a gem.
Oh.
Ma'am, Lekha Nair is
Tiny.
also here. Lekha Nair.
Where is she?
That
I didn't
Sham
see.
sang, but
Samson, she's waving.
Okay.
Lekha, unmute, Lekha, unmute.
You're
Oh,
not yet unmuted. Lekha. Unmute.
so nice
Lekha,
to
your
connect.
mic is mute. Oh, okay.
So nice, so nice. I could see
A small
Clarice also.
reunion.
Reunion, yeah.
We are
Uh,
very happy that we could make it happen for all of
Thank
you.
you,
And thank you.
Thankam.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thankam,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Thankam, ma'am, for
Thankam,
the
ma'am.
opportunity.
So those
Thank
who
you.
missed, please ask them to go and watch the recording. We'll be uploading it, latest by tomorrow. So you can go and watch ma'am again. No worries.
Thank you.
Now, I am feeling so, it's very difficult to explain my emotion.
Mixed emotions, yeah.
Not, I don't know what I'm feeling. It's almost like, hi, I wish I was also in the army.
Yeah.
And people will remember, first batch, second batch, third batch. I don't know. So we do remember ours also, but I think military has got a different feeling because I've seen my father having that, ownership of the country and ownership of what's happening. So my father was in the AMC, so I always heard him talk about and the commitment towards the country and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he put some of those values in me. So that's why many people ask me when I was in Fortis, are you also from the army? I said, I am not, but my father. So they'll say, you look like army. I said, okay, maybe because I'm also a little disciplined and strict, but not as much. I will not move my glass from here to there. I may not be that organized, but I think today was a lovely day. And all the ladies, someone mentioned about male students. Are there male
Yes.
students?
No. Yes, somebody asked how can students join the military nursing? So somebody asked in the chat.
Okay. I
Some
thought there are male students.
yeah. No, we don't have male students.
Okay.
Not yet.
Oh, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Females are inducted in the combat
Yeah.
roles. So
Yeah.
now you have to say, okay, males are inducted into the compassionate roles. So
Yeah. Yes.
that's a fantastic thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for coming on the video and making the day, the climax of today was all of you coming here and, recognizing your teacher. And we are very grateful that we were able to facilitate the same. Thank you so much for joining. And those who missed, you can always tell them to catch up the recording. Special thanks, ma'am, Major General Elizabeth Joan, ma'am. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
I feel nice that I know you, and I am able to tell others. No, I have gone to her office and I saw her uniform. You know, I feel very proud about the fact that I have known you, and thank you so much, and thank you for sharing your personal facets of your life here, and we wish you and pray for your mother, and hats off to you for giving that time to your parents, and I think may God bless all of us to have that opportunity. Sometimes people want to do but they can't do, because some of us, we get that blessing that we can do things for our parents. So great. Thank you so much, ma'am, once again, and take care.
Thank you
Take
so
good care
much.
of yourself, and
Thank
keep
you.
inspiring and keep showing us the way. And watching you dance is pending.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much.
Thankam, and
Thank you.
thank you, Indrani, for this
Thank you.
wonderful opportunity and for getting me connected with my wonderful, sweet students. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
ma'am, and
much.
love
Thank you,
you.
ma'am. Thank
Good
you.
night, ma'am.
Everyone,
Bye-bye.
take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Bye.